What's that?
Let's find out.
Hello and welcome back to the 80s Toy Museum. Got another Patreon special missions request for you. This one comes from Michael over at Decepticon Designs. And I do want to give a shout out to Decepticon Designs and their awesome 3D printed replacement parts for G1 Transformers. Finish off your Jetfire, your Megatron, a whole bunch of other G1 replacement parts there. I've done some reviews for them on the channel here. They're great quality. He's got a really keen eye. You're not going to want a keen eye if you want to pick up one of these. So I don't have a G1 Reflector, which is what Michael requested I take a look at, but I sort of do. This is a KO, a knockoff of a G1 Reflector, and this one was not available at retail in North America back in the day. Reflector, the character, was there right from the very beginning. He's one of the original Decepticons in the very first episode of Transformers. Doesn't show up in the Marvel comic except for one frame in issue number 4. There's a robot laying on the ground that sort of resembles Reflector. So he wasn't really a factor in the comic, but he helped bolster the ranks of the Decepticons on the show. He was the clone. So when they were grossly outnumbered by the Autobots, they just had hundreds of reflectors. Kind of like the Insecticons that showed up a little bit later on. Just tons and tons of reflectors to even the ranks, in addition to the Seekers that they had countless number of, in addition to the 3 main ones that had names and personalities. And this middle guy right here is the one that was cloned, that appeared in huge numbers on the show. So the toy itself includes 3 components that make up Reflector, and one of them doesn't stand very well. This is 2 of them don't stand very well, and the third one is shy. So this set I did pick up on eBay. I'm not gonna give out any links or anything like that. As I always say, you're a big boy. You can do your investigating, ask your questions, read feedback, and all that. But the really awesome thing about this KO set, there's some things that aren't awesome about it, but there's also some things that are really fantastic about this KO set. So Reflector, never available in at retail in North America back in the day. He was a mail-away exclusive, and it did come in a styrofoam tray like this, but it didn't come with a box with box art. In Japan, it did have a box with box art in Japanese. But what these KOs, the KO manufacturer has done, is tweaked the Japanese box. So the original Japanese box had the artwork of the camera on it. They've changed a little bit. I think the original Japanese box, there wasn't separation between the windows, and what they've done here is they've included the 3 individual robot box art, put it into English, and put everything else into English as well. Even got a bio on the back. You don't usually see that with the KOs. They're usually just straight up reproductions of the original boxes. So this one, a little more than the other ones, a little extra effort has been put into making this a little more special. So available at retail in Japan in 1985, and then North Americans got a chance to own this set in 1986 as a mail-away, sending in your robot points and whatnot. And this is a rare set that I've actually, KO set that I've applied the stickers. I don't usually do that. Kind of like the clean look for a lot of my reissues and KO Transformers. So it's 3 individual Transformers. The one I really care mostly about, the one that feels like unfinished business to me, is the one in the middle, because that's the one from the show. That's the one I consider Reflector, even though on the box he's called Viewfinder. We'll start with Viewfinder, as he's referred to on the box. Like a lot of early Transformers, he's got some really nice chrome bits. He is fairly floppy, but it's not the worst I've seen. The arm it's a little on the loose side. It's part of the transformation. There we go. That sturdies him up a little bit more. One arm seems tighter than the other arm. This part right here is hitting his shoulder, so it's limiting his arm from going up any higher than that. It's got a knee bend, but it's part of the transformation. Knee bend for a lot of G1 Transformers, especially the 1984 guys. It's really cool that you can get them in that type of pose, but they can't stand that way because there's no articulation with the hips. That looks like it should bend. It does. It's kind of scary. It's really tight, but there is some movement in Viewfinder's hip. It is just so stiff, and it being a KO, you don't want to risk that. Pretty nice plastic quality. Again, I'm so used to the KOs back in the day when they were brittle and they would just crumble. Not even crack, but crumble in your hand. That these days, seeing this better plastic quality really impresses me. So he does actually have a working viewfinder. I don't know if this will work. Putting the lens this close up to it. Trying the other way. And a really simple head sculpt on him. Kind of looks like pipes. Got some really nice chrome in there. That's rare for an early Transformer. And even though this guy was released in '85 in Japan, I consider him an '84. Especially with the design, he's right there in line with G1 Megatron, G1 Soundwave, those original Takara household items and gadgets. And you can give him a weapon, the Flash, from when he's in camera mode. So instead of having a hole on the in the fist, he's got it on the side. That's kind of rare, actually. If you ever see a hole not on the top of the fist, usually it's on the side, on the inside, like Megatron. But this guy has it on the side there, and then there's another one on the inside there. I guess if you want to give him... Well, the other weapons don't seem to have the same peg size. That just looks weird, though. So you can give him that as a weapon. Might be a better idea if I use the stiffer hand. The box art, this is just like the old days of looking at the box to see what I'm supposed to do here. The box art shows this piece as a weapon. I'm not entirely sure how to do that, though. It's not the same looking missile. I don't see how you're supposed to attach that onto the Flash. This, possibly? Ah! Something like that? Maybe? I'm not sure. Another really cool thing about these KOs is they actually do come with, in addition to the full sticker set, they come with the text specs decoder, which you can use to decode on the back of the box, as well as reproduction of the instructions. And these can go for quite a bit on eBay. Just old instruction sheets, and they're perfect. Like, it's high quality glossy paper. It's perfectly folded. It looks exactly like original Hasbro instructions. It's even in English, so I think it's a reproduction of the original mail-away instructions. And the instructions show that Viewfinder, as they call him, Reflector, as I want to call him, is just using one of the 3 rifles, and the actual flash isn't really meant to be a weapon. There's something on the instructions here that shows when he's in camera mode, this gun is supposed to plug in to the telephoto lens. So this is the Viewfinder's rifle, and apparently you're supposed to be able to fit this rifle. Just gonna try this while he's in robot mode. When he's in camera, that's how that's supposed to fit on there, and that doesn't work. It doesn't attach to anything in there. Unless it's just supposed to sit like that, but it just falls out. So this seems like it's just an extra piece that's supposed to be set off to the side somewhere. It looks like it does fit on the back there. Oh, you're gonna mess up your stickers if you do that. But that, I guess, is an option if you don't want to be just putting it off to the side. I think subspace is probably the best place to store that. Let's pop this rifle onto Viewfinder. Let's take a look at 2 of the other guys. The red guy, according to the box, is Spectro. Same deal. He's got hip movement. This is a lot better than Viewfinder, at least on the KO. I can't speak for the original G1. Never had it. Never seen it. Probably never will have an original. But that's not as tight and scary. Really beautiful chrome. That's the thing about the KOs. I don't really like when the KOs get so much hate, because I mean that looks great. The paint on it is fantastic. Chrome on it is fantastic. If you're really, really picky, I would recommend not getting into vintage toy collecting or any toy collecting, modern toy collecting, because it's not perfect. There's, let's see, a little paint down there isn't filled in and brand new out of the box. There was some chipping on the metallic paint here on the chest. So if you're super picky, I would recommend collecting fine china or expensive paintings, you know, something worth tens of thousands of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars, not toys that are under $100 or in some cases $100 or a couple $100. They're just toys. Does he have head movement? Slightly, barely any head movement, and based on the box, that's his gun. He's got the holes in his fists like normal. It's a cool looking gun. Reminds me of Jazz's gun, G1 Jazz. This is part of his transformation, so his shoulder can go in kind of unnaturally. And ooh, that's kind of tight, but he does have a 360. It's a little tight though. Nice looking basic transformer. He's a foot soldier. He bolsters the ranks. That's what I got Reflector for. I've got my collection of 84 Decepticons down there beside my 84 Autobots, and it's nice having an extra 3 Decepticons to just fill out the ranks a little bit. And finally, I'm going to look at Spyglass. It's got a really beautiful metallic blue paint. The camera is catching that really nicely. That's exactly. Sometimes when I'm filming this stuff, I tell you, it looks amazing. I wish the camera could capture it. This camera is perfectly capturing what I'm seeing with my eye. In fact, maybe it looks a little better on camera. That can sometimes happen too. There's another little paint chip down in his nether regions. Look at this sparkling, beautiful chrome. Now I'm getting a little more of a sparkle than you might get in your room because I have tons of lights up ahead. This room is really a studio in addition to being a collection room. I've got spotlights everywhere so that I can point a spotlight on this and on that and on that over there. The room is designed specifically to showcase items for filming. So I don't think you'll get that much of a dazzle. Sometimes people say your stuff looks so new, so mint, so great, and I'm always telling them it's not. I mean, in this case, it is new, it's unused, but in a lot of the cases, it's just the light. If you throw tons of light on something, it can look a lot better than it actually is. And his gun has, it's interesting, that looks like a gas can on the side. And he's got the holes in his fists as well. Arms 360, just like Spectro. Exact same, no, almost exact same articulation as Spectro. This part in the back, his legs are hitting his butt skirt, I guess. And his knees, interestingly enough, don't bend the correct way back. They bend the wrong way. So you can get one of those, you can do an impression of Sid Vicious jumping off the second rope for you wrestling fans out there. That's the 3 reflector bots, reflector combiner. And you don't see that very often. Transformers combiner, that's 3 instead of 5 or 6. And they don't have individual transformation modes. They just transform and combine into one camera. So in order to do that, first step is remove the weapons. And I love those 84 transformers for their simplistic transformations, and Reflector has one of those as well. Look at this. It's just literally one step. Step 1, put his legs back, although that's actually step 1. It says to fold his arms in, similar to Cerebros, who we just recently looked at on the channel, and put his legs back. So arms forward and legs back, bend the knees, and the instructions say take Viewfinder next, and the arm transformation is different, but the leg transformation is similar. Just fold back, so the arms. In order to do this, I think you gotta just push the shoulders in, and then those scary legs. I guess you have to do it anyway. It's part of the transformation. It's weird how stiff that is. Look how loose that is. That is how breaks happen, when you get something really, really stiff and really, really loose. And I've broken quite a few KOs. These things happen. A little peg right there will plug into the holes in his back. That's the second part. And then because it's a KO, the tolerances are usually off on them, so I don't know if they were actually supposed to peg in tightly, but my attitude is with KOs and reissues in general is just always you get what you pay for. So that's why I collect toys instead of fine china or Gauguins or Picassos. Spyglass is the final step. Now it's saying turn his head. Spyglass is the only one that they want you to turn his head around for the transformation. Another similar Cerebros style of transformation. So the arms go back. This time the legs go forward. I just fit those. Oh, I got a sticker that's starting to peel up. Stickers are pretty good on them, by the way. I hadn't mentioned it yet, but sometimes the stickers on KOs are really awful, but they're really good. And they also wanted the head to turn around. It's not bad. Merge to form reflector. Doesn't really sound as intimidating as merge to form devastator or Predaking. We've got a little malfunction here. So I don't know if this broke off. It's not coming out this time. The way you figure out which side goes where is there's a hole on one side of his feet. There's a hole on the other side of his feet. There's this little gray peg that plugs in there, but it's so tight that when I pull it out, it's like getting pulled right off. Right, that's one side, and this other side, even though I've pulled it clean off, I can still reattach it. It still works. It's just, I don't know how you get that out of there. It doesn't really matter. I guess I could just, oh, there's a screw there, so I guess I could unscrew it. What is this? Not sure what this is. It's not mentioned in the instructions. It's like a panel that opens to give you access to another screw. So yeah, I've got a little stuck piece in there. No biggie. It's not nice and solid like Soundwave was. It is just kind of feels like three pieces kind of just stuck together haphazardly. Oh, we got another peg down here that you can stick in there to try to make them a little more solid. You hear that? Yeah. That's Reflector. Oh, check that out. He's got an actual little button there for when you're taking pictures. These little touches, like Soundwave's eject button and his volume. I love those little touches that Takara added. Little button, and it's got a spring in it too. Nice touch. There's the viewfinder to take pictures. We got to add the lens on. And the sticker on there actually has some detail. Numbers on there. So there's Reflector in camera mode, and you can add this camera flash part, which has some really nice chrome on the inside. And it just fits over Spyglass's head. Now, since it is a transformer, it can just be an unassuming vintage camera, or it can be a weapon of deadly destruction. So you can add the missile launcher in, even in camera mode. And does it work? I don't know if it even works. Doesn't look like it works, actually. I don't know if it even has a spring in there. Sounds like there's... yeah, there is a spring in there. But... oh! I got it. It does work. It's not a super crazy strong spring. It's about what we had in the 80s. It's not like those crazy Takara springs. It sort of works and sort of doesn't work. Looks kind of goofy when it's in camera mode. I think it just works better without it in there. Cool little tiny camera. And a 360 of this vintage swag. The visible head really shatters the illusion. It's nice that the other one is hidden by the flash, but that one is just... is what it is. And it reminds me of the old days when you didn't have tons and tons of devices. Family might not even had a real camera. So it was cool to have a toy that doubled as a camera. And this, you could walk around and pretend to be snapping pictures of people. People would just think it's a camera because there weren't toys that were mimicking everyday household items and gadgets. So that's the cool part about this particular guy, that he's a throwback to Soundwave, I guess Megatron in some sense, even though, you know, a kid flashing a gun around. It's funny how times have changed. Back then, when a kid flashed a gun around, I think most people who saw that immediately assumed it was a toy. Like, of course it's a toy. What kid would have a real gun? It's kind of insane that these days a kid running around flashing a gun, the assumption is that it's real. It's pretty strange days. But there's a G1 Reflector. It's not exactly cheap on eBay, but for historical value, I think the price isn't too bad, especially considering you get the box with it. You get the old school styrofoam tray with it. You get the original style instructions with it, the stickers, and it's not the worst quality either. It's not fantastic, but it's I mean, I've transformed it a few times since I got it a couple of years ago, and I haven't broken it yet, aside from what you just saw me do, the one little piece that fell in there, and that doesn't even break the toy. It still actually functions. So thanks again to Michael for the request. Hope you enjoyed this review, and thanks to everyone else in the Patreon tribe. Thank you for supporting the channel. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks also to the channel members. Thanks for hitting the join button. And everyone else, thanks for just watching. Thanks for checking out this video, for watching the channel, hitting that like and hitting that subscribe. Appreciate it, and glad to hear you're enjoying all the videos. Till next time, Nerdmas Day.